time for
Hello.
Oh.
I
Hello
forgot and
you're doing this.
welcome everybody back once again to World of Racing. We are here not for the first race, not for the second race. No, we're here for the finals of the GT3 Championship. And Jackson Lambros alongside Mike Noss tonight. We are down to the wire, Jackson. This championship is getting exciting. As you can see, folks at home, just to break the elephant in the room, currently on vacation, not vacation, currently on a work trip, away. So background a little janky, but hey, we're here, folks. Jackson, we got GT3s tonight. It's all GT3s all the time. Laguna Seca, Donington, two classics. What more could you look forward to?
It's a pair of really, really iconic classic courses here, Mike. Very, very unique in each of their own ways. You've got West Coast swagger at Laguna Seca, and then you go on to classic, iconic, home of Ayrton Senna's Lap of the Gods, Donington Park. Both very roller coaster in nature, both very tight and technical. It's going to be a game of survival here when we crown a champion.
Absolutely will be. And coming down to the wire, of course, we'll touch on the championship in a little bit. Let's talk about the track that we're going to be tackling first here tonight, Laguna Seca. Currently, the track that is of the home of, well, Jackson, but I'm currently in the same state, so it's a California all the way around here tonight, of course, with World of Racing being located in both Pasadena and Tustin. It is a California special all the way as you can imagine it. 2.2 miles, 3.6 kilometers on a track founded back in 1957 on a dried up lake bed. It's not much wildlife around. 11 corners though, 6 to the left and 5 to the right, and of course the infamous corkscrew, 5.5 stories in 5 seconds, and it's an absolute roller coaster.
Always hard to kind of call it our home track when, I mean, for me it's a 7-hour car drive, but no, it's absolutely a place I'm proud to call home. I've had the ability to do hot laps at pace, and video games don't do it justice. These Sim Integrale full fidelity motion rigs are going to give kind of a close idea, but nothing is going to give you the full feeling of what it is like to go down 5 stories of the corkscrew at pace. It's a heart in your throat kind of feeling. It's very, very blind. And it is genuinely one of the most exciting corners in motorsport. Absolutely love it.
You know, Jackson, I think we have hyped this up enough. Why don't we head down to the circuit and let's talk a little bit about the drivers.
Joining you now on trackside as we just get to 10 minutes done on qualifying, 10 to go. It's Andrew right now with a healthy 0.6 of a second over Ryan. Andres close in third.
Andreas, of course, really been chipping away recently and trying his absolute heart out. Where's Ahmad? Ahmad down in 12th place right now. Mr. Consistent, just currently behind Chan Young with Michael ahead. Carlos, who we're looking at right now, sitting in 9th with a 1:25.0. Just quite right outside of those 24 markers. 23.4, though, being pole position, currently by nearly 6.5, 7/10 of a second, Jackson. That's quite the margin.
A little bit of an improvement here for Bradley. Goes down to a 1:24.463. That is improvement. It's not enough for him to move forward as we watch Christopher now working out of the, well, onto the Ray Hall straight. Get a helicam here of Michael working down the pit entry. I think another thing, we're not really going to be going into the pits and doing cycles here, but it is one of the more challenging pit entries and exits. Tight hairpins to both come in and come out, and if you're in that first box, it comes at you immediately. No pit stops, but again, another little quirk here of what makes Laguna Seca so unique, so special.
Absolutely. And speaking of special, we haven't talked about it just yet, but let's bring it up now. The championship, folks, currently leading at the top is going to be Mr. Kian. And now, if I'm looking at this correctly, where is Kian? In fact, I don't see him out on track here tonight. He is not secured. Dylan sitting currently alongside him, just about, what, 20 points nearly right off the back. Ryan not far behind either. So as it stands, it's looking like, well, there's no Dylan either. We got 2 of our top 2s currently not in the running.
Shades of MX5 Cup finale, absolutely. Some potential title contenders actually being no-shows, which is a little bit disappointing, but again, that kind of flips the script. What are we going to see as a result?
We might see Ryan take it, but currently Ryan and Andrew tied on standings. Andreas currently 7 points behind. So to be honest, we have made quite the exciting battle here for the championship, considering that Kian and Dylan both missing in their ranks here tonight, respectively. Hopefully, they're having a lovely evening. If they are tuning in on the stream, big warm welcome to them, and a welcome to everybody as well that's joining us here on the World of Racing YouTube channel. Wherever you are in this fine world, thank you so much. Hope you're having a lovely evening, afternoon, or morning. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button here on World of Racing. And if you are in Southern California and down in the Orange County or up near Pasadena, head on down, of course, Pasadena and Tustin being in the district. Also, if you're up in Kansas City, Kansas, check out World of Racing location there. Not racing out on track here with us tonight, though.
Ryan to the line. Actually has no improvement. I think that was his outlap, actually. Yes, here he is. So Andrews gets a little bit of an improvement as well, just a tenth of a second separating those two. And Andrews will come back to the pits and try it once again to get on the front row. Good timing there for Ryan. Make sure this kind of 4-car freight train coming out of the Andretti hairpin go on through. He has some clean air to work with.
Yeah, really no slipstreaming to be found here on this track. We can see the lap traffic, or half lap traffic, however you want to describe qualifying lap traffic, getting in the way there, but not going to be impeding him, of course, as this is his outlap. Andrew, still though, on pole position and really not in any danger whatsoever of being bested. Bradley currently sitting down in 4th right now, nearly tied with Andreas. Those lap times down to the 10,000ths of a second, and, well, to be fair, Donovan right in the mix as well.
And as we are trying to set the scene here for race 1, we've kind of teed this up a lot with the track. Mike, we haven't really talked about the car. It's the Mercedes-AMG GT3 Evo 2, one of the more iconic staples of GT3 racing. And there isn't a full-time replacement for this car on the horizon, but when this gets phased out, much like the Lexus, which we saw a couple weeks ago, this is going to go down as one of the longest tenured GT3 homologated models around since 2015 or 2016. Granted, it's had some Evo models to keep it alive, but with how long Mercedes themselves have actually kept it in production as Bradley now comes back in to make some adjustments, it's really been a long serving machine.
Absolutely. I mean, this one currently from what, 2020, if I'm not mistaken, the 6.3 liter naturally aspirated V8 in the front, of course, being a front engine car. One of the few these days, to be completely honest. 550 brake horsepower with 650 Newton meters of torque. It is an animal, enough torque to tenderize an elephant if you're not careful with your right foot. And of course, coming in at under 3,000 pounds, this thing 0 to 60 is nothing to be, well, it's nothing to shake a stick at.
The way I've heard drivers kind of describe the AMG is, it is front engine. You've got that German power in front of you, but it has been set up and engineered to be as characteristic to a mid or rear engine machine as possible. If you're chucking it in with just a little bit too much gusto, that back end is going to want to come around on you. So a barge, this machine absolutely is not. You got to treat it with respect. And Carlos absolutely does not there as he gets on the gas just a little bit too quickly there at the bottom of the corkscrew. Chan Young comes to the line. It's best enough for 10th.
Carlos pretty much took the words right out of my mouth there. This is a car that can go from crippling understeer into violent oversteer quicker than a quick thing in Quicksville, which that, by the way, of course, being a shout out to my good friend Paul Jeffrey, who is going to be, his home track is up next, Donington. So, of course, we'll be heading over to that here after this race. But for now, qualifying, getting down to it, we have still 3 minutes, 33 seconds and counting. And Chan Young, as you just mentioned, what does he have left in the tank? Can he get down into the 24s?
So that's about 2 laps in change here for Chan Young. He'll be able to go across the stripe. Let's see, where he is at track right now, just coming onto the right hull straight. If he stays at pace, as he's very much working that track limit on the outside, he might be able to do 2 more laps at pace. But again, you've got to ask yourself, is it really worth staying out? Big rally from Timothy up ahead. And so too does Chan Young, kind of taking the Alex Zanardi line down the corkscrews. There is some significant improvement, it looks like. So Chan Young potentially working himself into the top 5 definitely on the road forward, and the commentator's curse strikes again, just overcooks it, working down the hill and in the run to turn 11.
And those are going to do a number on the tires, unfortunately. Should have enough time, though, to go into pit lane and get back out, maybe, due to the way that we run qualifying here at World of Racing. Of course, it's not the fact if you make it to the checkered flag, you're not guaranteed to finish that lap. You got to be swift about it. Once that time runs out, it could be 40 seconds, it could be a minute, but it's not going to be much more than that, Jackson. You have to make sure that you get these laps done within the allotted time.
So that's kind of doing the IndyCar approach, and with 20 minutes of time, it's not like you've got a lot of excuses to say, oh, I didn't have track position or I didn't have time, but you need to approach it with a sense of productivity. Have an opening stint, get your banker laps in. Don't go too crazy with the car, running at about 95%. Final 10 minutes, make some adjustments with the car, turn up the heat a little bit, try experimenting and maybe finding a little bit of extra time. This should not be when you are just setting your first clean laps though, Mike.
No, it's in theory the best time to be setting your first clean laps, but this is not Formula One. We're not trying to save sets of tires. We are trying to send it. We have plenty of time. We have plenty of sets of rubber to go on, and we need to use them to our best advantage here. And if you're just starting your lap, you better make sure it's a valid one. These Sigma Intergale motion simulators, they kick you around like you're riding a Bronco. It is an experience, and you make one mistake on these, and they're gonna punish you.
It's very, very satisfying, especially here at Laguna. Lee, I think, is going to give us a great example here as he goes through these opening right-handers after Andretti. You're so reliant on those curbs to be a runoff and roll on with the power, and you're using that as a reference. So feeling that little bit of rumble as you're carrying it to the outside, knowing that your left wheels are over those curbs, it's such valuable information, and these Sigma Integrale systems give you just so much information.
And especially when you're going down the hills, you go down the corkscrew, it feels like you're going down the corkscrew. It is truly, your stomach flips over like you're in a roller coaster. You get to feel that dipping sensation as well, which not a lot of motion simulators offer, to be completely honest. I've had my share on a few. I have to say, probably one of the best experiences I've ever had sim racing down at World of Racing. And I'm not just saying that, to be completely honest. It is truly, if you look at the thumbnail, go Google it online, tell me that that place is not a place that you want to be.
It is an immaculate vibe. Shout out to all my Tustin people, which is my home track, or home center, I suppose, but always a good vibe at World of Racing. Donovan out of turn 11 for the final time. Will roll on the power in 5th, looking for a little bit more. He improved in Sector 2. He comes to the stripe with an improvement for Sector 3 and advances up into 4th.
Who is going to be next? Andreas, currently down the wire, still here. Carlos on a lap at Andrew. Looking quite fat and happy, though, with that 123.3. I don't think that's going to be beat, to be completely honest, at this point. Nobody really coming within any margin, to be completely honest. Ryan next to the line, but I don't think he's going to be making it that far. Maybe enough to gain over Bradley. But as we get to the flag here, it looks like everybody has managed their best attempts.
Ryan, our last big wild card here. Not pole pace, could be front row. Really like that line out of the final corner, letting that outside curb kind of swallow the pace. Still not enough.
And with qualifying here getting wrapped up, we'll be getting down to the race very shortly, of course. They're going to hop on over Ahmad. Ooh. Mr. Consistent not showing that to be the case on this session. Certainly having a bit more luck with the MX-5s and the GT3s.
Mr. Consistent, as he's going broadside out of turn 10, might be the greatest, the most active use of the commentator's curse of all time. But that is qualifying done. It's time to get down to business here at Laguna.
Yes, it is. We get down to the meat and potatoes of tonight, where everybody is going to be lining up 2x2 Noah's Ark formation for a standing start. Something you don't get to see every day in an AMG GT3, or at least in the GT3 field at all. Typically, it's going to be a rolling start for procedures, but here we go, folks. We are racked and stacked and ready to rumble. This is a lot of horsepower on the grid right now. 6 red lights coming on for the finals of World of Racing, we go green, 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 and immediately Andrew off to a stellar start. Bradley gonna be nipping at the heels, but it's gonna have to go on the defense, it looks like, from Ryan. Donovan also getting involved, a little bumping and banging in the straight line. That's never gonna be good. Back touch there from Donovan into the second corner, which is really the first corner. 3 wide there briefly as cars getting forced off the track, but it seems there's been a bit of an incident. Andreas losing some positions, Lee as well. Michael is round, and it seems Chan Young as well, but we are green flag running here, Jackson, and it looks like we're on the go.
Only took us one start to really get it right here. Good start from Andres, who actually slips around the outside of Donovan, working out of the Andretti hairpin. We ride on board with Ryan, though. He is right in this battle. Here comes Andrew on the inside.
Side by side up the Ray Hall straight now on the way towards the corkscrew. This can only end in one way, and that is in fact settling the position before you get to the braking zone. Don't want to be going 2x2 through the corkscrew. Ryan holds on. Bradley still on the back there, and here we get to see that picturesque shot of the 5.5 stories being trundled on. I don't know what I was about to say, but it's again a lot of horsepower on this grid, and you love to see this nip and tuck running.
So big losses there in the run onto Ray Hall straight. It was Andrew that caught Ryan napping, or excuse me, it was Andrew that caught Bradley napping. He'll lose another position further back, as now 2-3 cars will be lost as a result. Something must be up with Bradley, because he's gone from 1st to 5th here in this first lap.
Yeah, something. It must have been that collision that we saw earlier on. I'm assuming something getting in the way there, but hopefully he can recover.
On board with the 90 here, this is Lee, who has kept his position since the start, was involved in this kind of 2x2 mayhem going into the Andretti hairpin in lap 1. But now we're watching the field start to dilute, and we're watching Lee try and start to get to work and chip away at Bradley and Nicholas. Nicholas right in front of him.
Lee, one of the Tustin drivers as well, ones I got to shake hands with when I was down at World of Racing. Great guy. Timothy in the background there, Chan Young chasing in 9th, and Christopher rounding out your top 10 with Carlos, Ahmad, and Michael trailing behind right now. Michael getting caught up in that lap 1 incident as well. Another great guy that I got to meet down at World of Racing as well down in Tustin. Andrew, though, kind of the talk of the town right now. He is leading, and he is not leading by an insignificant margin.
And further back, actually, great stuff from Andrew right now, already putting nearly a 1.5 seconds on Ryan. And then Andres just about a second further back down the road. It's a 3-car freight train we're kind of focused on right now. There's a big off further back, and it looks like Ahmad, who we watch in the background, loses it once again in turn 10.
Yeah, he's really proving my Mr. Consistent wrong here today. I'm not going to lie.
We're back on with Bradley, who is trying to mount the comeback now after losing 5 positions. It's Donovan first on the menu, and a pair of right-handers in turns 3 and 4 as we try to work through under the tire rack bridge. For a little bit quicker than turn 3, you gotta watch that sausage curb on the inside, because that can spit you out big time if you're just giving a little bit too much. Braking right at the 100 here as we work through turn 5. Don't let that camber fool you. That outside comes very, very quickly. Then always a challenging corner for me. The left-hander of turn 6, a quick flick to the left. It catches Donovan out, and he somehow catches it. But another position for Bradley as he works out of the Ray Hall straight.
Oh, I don't think he caught it at the end there. He managed to start to save it, but you can see he pitched himself there into the barrier and has somehow ended up on the other side of the track to boot. Rejoining safely, great job, Donovan, but unfortunately that is a mistake through what I have dubbed as the dipper. A very easy one to make. You mentioned it's a very tricky corner. The weight, basically the car becomes weightless through that corner. As you go through that little dip, the suspension goes fully at its maximum length and then compresses back again. And if you're not having that wheel in pretty much a dead straight line, you're having a really bad day.
And compression is just the thing that is a struggle compared to, I think, normal tracks as a whole. I think what people fail to really understand is the braking zone for the corkscrew is technically 2. The little right-hander, you've actually lift off going over the crest, because braking as the whole suspension unloads, all that's going to do is upset the car. So braking in the uphill section, lift off, then back on the anchors as we work into the apex. You guys will get a far better idea of that as we continue to ride with Ryan. Bradley is closing that gap once again, and we are heading back up the Rahal straight towards that corkscrew.
I'm Bradley right now. I'm just currently in the hunting process. I'm seeing where the weaknesses are. I'm not worried about making the move right now. There's still 12 minutes and 41 seconds left. Plenty of time. And with Andreas right in the mix as well, again, nothing to really be too concerned about if you are in Bradley's shoes. In fact, I might even go as far as saying he's in the best position right now out of Ryan and Andreas. I think these two are going to start to battle. And again, Bradley, he's just going to sit back and watch, pick up the scraps, and take second place away from both of them. That's the plan, but we know, Jackson, that no plan survives first contact, especially with the enemy, and especially with Ryan and Andreas.
No, for sure. It's a matter of who's in the cage with who, right? Because two guys in this freight train are gonna battle, and whoever is the one that's kind of caught out is gonna be the big winner. It looks like Bradley is kind of trying to chip away at, Nick's trying to chip away at Bradley. And the advantage, that's strike two for me in trying to find cars right now. It is Bradley trying to chip away at Ryan. Andres is leading both of them, and it looks like Andres was trying to get away just slightly. And with all three of these cars battling, you've got Nicholas and Lee further back in the background. They might be able to bring that whole 5-car freight train with them.
They have to work together. You cannot be battling if you're in Lee's shoes right now. And if I know Lee, which I do, he's actually a very calm guy. I don't think he's going to be too worried about making this overtake onto Nicholas. He sees the bigger picture. He sees that in the long run, if these guys start battling, but currently, Ryan, Andreas, and Bradley, I got to say, they're not really battling toward it. It almost looks like they're working together to try to catch Andrew, which I'm not having the most success at. But that will be, of course, Bradley's idea, or excuse me, Nicholas's idea is for them to fight. That way they can come to him. The gap being about 4 seconds right now. I don't want to call that insurmountable. It's certainly not, but it's going to be a difficult one to chip that away.
Battle for the best of the rest going on right now as Donovan taking a peek to the inside of Michael. They'll go side by side as we give you the drone cam coming through the challenging right-hander of turn 10, and Michael will get that position.
Sealed and delivered. Nice and easy there from Michael. Ahmad. Oh, what's happened in the front? Bradley's just, no, nothing's happened. Nothing's happened.
Timing tower freaked us out there. We watched a little bit of a freak out because it looked like Bradley might have gotten to the scoring lip before them and gained a position. I'll tell you what though, Mike, he is right on the bumper of Ryan.
Yeah, he certainly is on this occasion, and he looks hungry, almost into the left-hander coming up there out of the mother's. That is a bold take if you want to go for a move there. Similar situation up towards the Rahal straight here. I don't see any chance of Bradley getting by right now. He's going to have to wait till turn 2. It's a very difficult track to overtake, and exit stage left, Chan Young.
Exit stage left, Chan Young. Michael trying the inside of Christopher through turn number 5, still side by side. Michael using a little bit of the door there to push Chris, not into the grass, but just into the curbing, gets the job done.
Yeah, nicely done there. And look at that fire bellowing out of these AMGs. They're naturally aspirated too, so I'm not even sure where the fire is coming from. The no turbocharger to expel the gases in a violent manner as such, but hey, you love to see it. The blow-off valve for the downshift. I got to give some credit here to Assetto Corsa, and really more credit, I guess, to the modding community as a whole that's kept this game so alive. Look at the quality of these cars. Of course, these are not the actual AMG GT3s because of copyright trademark reasons, but they are absolutely phenomenal in the way they were modeled.
You can see the decals on the back of these AMGs, but a tip of the cap to Race Sim Studios, and I'll drop a quick lesson here because no, there is no turbocharger, but the excess fuel that these cars have means that even if it's running rich, there's always going to be a little bit of extra fuel in those exhaust pipes, and lifting off the throttle still gives it an opportunity to ignite, which is why we have that flame throwing. That's a great way of showing us in the booth here when these guys are off throttle.
That makes a lot of sense. Not like my buddy's Subaru, which drops gasoline into the exhaust to spit flames, so just wasting fuel.
That's just try hard.
This is efficiency. Efficient. How do I describe it? It's efficient coolness.
Yes. Yeah, there we go. It's cool for a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Not like a Subaru. Shout out to all the Subaru drivers. Either way, on to the next lap here. We got 8 minutes left to go, and I'm still not seeing the level of aggression that I would have expected at this point. Now, as I say that, Donovan has had a bit of aggression towards his wheel, I would imagine, as he spun off the track again. Onto the side, careful, careful, careful. Ahmad is in the background, but that looks like there was no harm, no foul.
Coexisted. Chen Young back on the hunt here. He's got Michael right in front of him. This is really your prime overtaking opportunity here. The run from the final corner up over what is actually turn one, the kink of a left-hander as we run into Andretti hairpin. We'll watch Ahmad and Donovan do it here. He's tucked right into the bumper over the left-hander. We'll go side by side into turn number one. Who's going to be brave on the anchors here?
Looks like advantage to the 90, which is obviously going to be Donovan in this case. Hey, that's a great way to be right as a commentator. Yeah. Donovan holds on. Ahmad trying to go for the outside line, not really working. The track just falls away from you here. This is a very similar track to the first corner, or second corner again, of Kyalami, where you have that sort of not double apex, but it's just a very long corner. And if you're on that outside line, you're going to have a pretty hard time making an overtake.
And again, what you need to do in the kind of remainder of the circuit is still be productive and, you know, give yourself that chance to kind of stay in the fight and give yourself that opportunity. Take, for instance, Bradley going on the inside of Ryan through turn one into the Andretti hairpin. Here's the over-under from Ryan, who'll try it again on the inside.
Oh. Space to fit a piece of paper, maybe, but probably not even a credit card. Bradley doesn't get the move done. Ryan with a defense of a century, and this is not done yet. The gloves are coming off. In fact, I would say this has officially turned into a cage match, maybe even a knife fight in a phone booth. I'm not sure.
I'll say this, that was for sure Bradley and Ryan being really, really cool in the pocket. The last thing you want to do when you're going side by side is tensing up, and Ryan, knowing he still technically had the preferred line there, going out of Andretti hairpin, parked it, kind of used the exit of turn two, the Andretti hairpin, as a launch pad and just let it sail around the outside, had all of that extra momentum and used it to his advantage. So Bradley down but not out in this fight. I will say Andres is kind of out of this fight with Andrew, 6.5 seconds between them with 5 minutes to go. It's just kind of Andrew taking the advantage of the clean open air at this point. Battle for the podium is still anyone's guess here, as Bradley with another look to the outside now. A big checkup at turn 11. This will be another opportunity for Bradley across the stripe.
There is no way he doesn't get this one done. Look at the overspeed. He has the inside line. He has the momentum. He doesn't even need to use the brakes unless Ryan decides to chuck it back to the inside there. Both drivers missing the apex. That's always a pleasant sight. Driving onto the gravel as well for good measure.
Here comes Andres!
Overdriving
Ryan with the look to the inside! Oh my goodness, that was incredibly bold. Going into turn three, it almost seems like he'd try it again with another peak. Going low into turn four, and Bradley gets it, but Ryan is really telling him how he feels. Some great stuff there for Bradley, who gets that 12 machine onto the podium.
That was a mistake from Bradley that allowed Ryan that opportunity in the first place there. He drove off the track. This is not going to work. Do not attempt that, Ryan. Try to get into the head of Bradley, and I think it's working. Look at him. He's going for the defensive drive right now. Ryan is currently playing Bradley like a fiddle. Bradley just has to hold on right now, and somehow Andreas seems to be getting closer.
The question we got to ask ourselves, though, Mike, is it's got to be too little too late at this point, right? With 4 minutes to go and lap traffic definitely not being a problem at this point. We've got about 3 laps for some magic to happen here and for Andres to be the upset. And Andrew's still doing a great job to kind of hold him off. The question is, though, can both of these guys maybe reach it to Andres and make it a fight for second?
Keep in mind, folks, this is a championship fight that we're watching right now. Andrew, Andreas, and Ryan are all within 7 points of each other. So every single position matters right now. It does not matter who you are. You have to be aggressive right now if you're Bradley. You have to be aggressive
Ryan
if
to
you're
the
Ryan.
outside. Ryan around the outside. Sorry, Mike. A very strange move there, as Bradley almost seemingly let Ryan by on the outside of turn number 3. And I'm not sure if that was just preferred line and Bradley not wanting to make it as dramatic as it could have been. but we'll get back in line and we'll now try to take third back.
Yeah, a little bit of a slip up there. Bradley, again, I think he's just... Currently, Ryan is of advantage in my opinion, and again, it's because he's in his head. Bradley is really trying to hold on right now, and he's given it all he's got behind the wheel. And we mentioned it before just briefly, but you don't want to drive these cars tense. You have to be loose. You have to be flowing. You need to be one with the machine. And right now, Bradley seems to be battling it a little bit.
One of my favorite quotes is from Emmy Kuruma, who's a coach and a streamer. She says, if it should feel like walking. If you need to think when you're at maximum pace, you're kind of doing something wrong. And that goes to show just the kind of state of flow that you can really get in, that kind of Ayrton Senna lap of the gods mentality that you kind of need to have, where it, as cheesy as it sounds, when you're really dialed in, it does feel like an extension of your body.
No, absolutely, especially when you have the vibrations and the sensations through your rear end, which these drivers have. Again, with the Sigma Integral motion simulators, you get to feel that. You get the extra visceral experience that communicates the car to you. If anyone has watched not Ford versus Ferrari, but the Niki Lauda and
Rush.
James Hunt, the Rush. Yes, if anyone's watched Rush, Niki Lauda has a great quote in that movie talking about car feeling. I can't really repeat it.
Big
here
off
on the
for Bradley
stream.
there.
Yes, indeed. And there, Bradley getting a nice feel through his rear end of what gravel feels like and what not to do. And now look at this. Oh, how the turns have tabled. Nicholas, welcome to the conversation.
So now, already kind of on the decline for Bradley once again. Can Nicholas pounce on that mistake in turn 6? If anyone has driven Laguna Seca in chat, you know how difficult that corner is and how easy it is to just carry a little bit too much into that, take a little bit too much off of the curbing on the inside. You need to be perfect to the inch in your line in the run up to Ray Hall Straight, because if not, it'll eat you up really, really quick.
And you know, here, I've been in Bradley's shoes before. Looking at this fight right now, Nicholas, I give him the advantage. In fact, I'd almost give Lee the advantage as well. And Bradley, he has to flip a switch, and it has to be now pretty much, as this is going to be the final lap. You need to be aware. You need the fact that I have the pace. I've done it before. I know I can lap the pace that I can. I'm just beating myself right now. And it looks like, actually, as I'm saying this, I think Bradley has turned that leaf back. Once he saw Nicholas, I think that's kind of a wake-up call. You get that fire lit underneath your seat and say, okay, why am I driving so hard? Lock in. I don't need to. Bradley on the ball right now, and it seems that Nicholas is going to have quite the hard time as the drivers are coming through the track right now towards the final sector.
So Andrew will not do another lap. He's working out of turn 10 and has been picture perfect this entire race. Out of turn 11 for the final time, and the first race of the finale will go to Andrew here at Laguna Seca.
Great drive there, and pretty much an unmentioned driver in Andrew. Andreas gonna be finishing in second, and that'll be a warm welcome of points to his name. Ryan as well, finishing in third there. That is going to put Andreas ahead in the championship heading into the final race. Bradley in the background, he's gonna need to catch up just a little bit. Nicholas in 5th, Lee 6th, Carlos 7th, Timothy 8th, and Chan Young, well, looking like 9th, but we'll see.
DVD, good stuff from him so far. Michael was involved in an incident about 3-4 laps in and has been trying to drive his way back forward. He hasn't been able to clear Chan Young, and with the checkered flag coming out, it'll be a successful defense from Chan Young after both of these guys were trying to drive forward, and they had themselves a pretty nice battle there for race 1.
They certainly did. You always love to see when the drivers in the background, which, again, not to take away any talent level from these guys, because they all have proven their muster, especially the likes of Chan Young, Timothy, Michael. I mean, Donovan, Ahmad, again, just different championships. Christopher as well. They're all talented in their own right. You get caught out on an early lap and you just get put into poor situations, but you find somebody to battle with, right? That's what's the beautiful part of World of Racing. And not only do you get to battle somebody that's right around your pace, you get to go and talk to them afterwards. You get to meet them face to face and say, man, that was a good battle. Man, sorry I took you out. Hey, why'd you take me out? You get all the emotions, the fire, and then afterwards, you can go and break down your replays as well. They do that as well, to go and answer any questions or anything like that. Oh my goodness.
That's why we have a hands-off policy at the throw of the checkered flag. Let's go back to the. I think that is the beauty of just World of Racing over normal league racing. The fact that you can walk over to the guy, stall over to you, and give him a fist bump and say, "Good race." I do also absolutely love, the ability that we do debriefs, that we watch replays, and again, it is a contest, but we're always here to learn, to try and improve, and just grow as racers, as drivers, and walk away with something that we know we've improved on at the end of the night.
Yeah, exactly. It's all about fun, right? I think that's something that people sometimes forget when we're out here sim racing, right? We get the that competitive nature in us, which is great. Don't get me wrong, I'm an extremely competitive person myself. I completely understand. But you have to dial it back sometimes and remember, look, we're here to have fun. We're here to have a good time. And at the end of the day, we're doing what we enjoy, right? And that is going side by side with somebody and racing them. That is the fun. Having the utmost faith in that person and the utmost faith in yourself and them sharing that feeling as well. That is what we're here for, folks.
Absolutely love it. So that will be race number 1 in the books. Let's say we step away for a little bit, give everybody at home and in the centers a chance to take a quick breather, and we'll be back in a little bit here for Donington.
Welcome back, everybody, to World of Racing, the finals of the GT3. And finally, we have finals for the final round of the GT3 Championship. I don't think that was that clever. Either way, Mike Noss alongside Jackson Lambros here for the finals, and it looks like, well, Andrew has discovered, I don't know, something in a different planet.
Setting the tone early here with 5 minutes into qualifying, just under 15 to go. Christopher coming to the line was very, very slow. Coming out of the final turn, the left-handed hairpin of Goodard's. And if you have never seen Donington Park before, you guys are in for something special. Very Laguna-esque. It's tight, it's twisty, it's technical. There's plenty of elevation change, and you really only have a handful of areas where you can really get an overtake done here, Mike.
Yeah, there really is only a couple. You can go for it potentially through the turn 1 of Red Gate. It's a very high-speed right-hander, though, and to be honest, you're not going to find that much luck most of the time. The first sector here is a roller coaster. It is through Hollywood, up through the old hairpin, by the old Starkey's Bridge, which has been demolished, of course, still some of it left. And then towards the top of the hill, once you get to Coppice, and then down towards the Fogarty S's, you have a chance. Melbourne hairpin, that's where you can start to set it up for Goodard's. But to be honest, this is going to be one of the most important qualifyings of these drivers' career.
And Nicholas has himself in the prime position right now, getting that AMG in clean air. Let's ride on board with him and give you a lap here in one of the great British racing jewel boxes.
High speed, first corner coming up here again, just chuck it into the right-hander and then get yourself nice and aligned because it's going to be a long ride roller coaster. Nicholas a little bit loose there on the outside. Take those curbs aggressive down the hill of Hollywood, go by Old Starkey's Bridge, wave as you go by, it's tradition. There it is right there on your screen to the left, and up to the top of the hill of McLean's. This is where the top of the elevation, the top of the track, and then you head towards Coppice where you begin the descent. And it's a quick descent once you get up to the top of the hill once more here. This is a decent, maybe overtaking chance, but probably not, more than likely. Long right-hander, almost a double apex, that's how it feels. Slow and cumbersome in its nature, and then you get to accelerate on the way down to the chicane. Very, very aggressive high-speed chicane. You can see how much entry you have. Lots of curb to work with as well. Be careful, though. The grass is always right on the outside. 2 corners left to go. Yeah, we just started this lap, and we're pretty much almost done. Through the penultimate corner, it's a hairpin, and then pretty much rinse and repeat just the other direction. And that, folks, is a lap here at Donington Park.
Wrapping up Goodard's, this is a little bit more challenging because you go into the S's and feel like you can carry all the speed in the world to open this final section, and then you come through Goodard's, it's off camber, it's slow. We saw Nicholas get caught up earlier. He learned his lesson this time. He's good enough for 8th quickest with a 1:30.715. But again, we draw a lot of comparisons here with Laguna Seca in that it's a fast lap, a lot of elevation, not a lot of compression, and not a lot of natural cambering of the corner to kind of help you out. I like to call it the inverse, Mike, of Laguna, in that there's a lot of places at Laguna where you feel like you can carry so much speed and get caught out. I think this is a track that inspires a lot more courage in certain corners.
Oh, absolutely. Especially through the first sector, through the old hairpin and up the hill. Maybe one of my favorite flowing sectors of any track. It's certainly a roller coaster. It's a ride. Anyone who hasn't driven on this track, I highly recommend checking it out, especially on Assetto Corsa or on Assetto Corsa Competizione. It's both a great choice. This is typically a motorbike track, so that's why you see such flat curves here. They host a wide range, though, of sports, of course, from touring cars to superbikes to historic racing events as well, pretty much making it whatever you want here at this track. And again, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, this is Paul Jeffrey's home circuit, and he has been intoxicated on every single corner of this track. So it's a fun one. This is kind of one of those local tracks out in the middle of, where the heck is it? Derby, of course. In the middle of Derby that, you know, you just get to go, have a good time, and go and watch really any form of motor racing that you want.
I think we do also need to mention the Grand Prix circuit here. This full configuration, national circuit kind of misses out on the Melbourne hairpin. Host to the European Grand Prix for a couple of years where we saw Ayrton Senna basically go from the middle of the pack to first in the opening laps in the wet. Only took a handful of years for us to realize this track was much too narrow and too tight for us to have Formula One machinery on, but still home for British GT, for the British Touring Car Championship, and most notably for World Superbikes, and a plethora of different club racing series and club motorcycle racing series. Ryan very fast here, getting that pace going early. Same too with Bradley, quickest in Sector 1, good enough for third. Andrew still untouchable, but less than a tenth of a second separating the front row right now.
And still, 10 minutes in qualifying. Plenty of improvement right now. This is going to be a melee. Look at this. 4 drivers all within touching distance. You can throw a blanket over them. Behind that, look at how tight it is as well. There's another 4 drivers all within just a few tenths of each other. Chan Young starting off the drivers in the 30s. And again, another tight pack. Well, this is going to be an interesting race if this qualifying sticks to this trend.
Ryan quickest in Sector 1. This could be the lap that puts him at the sharp end of the field for the first time tonight. We've seen some guys be a little bit careful here through the S's. How brave are we? Very, says Ryan, who goes purple once more in Sector 2. Onto Melbourne hairpin. It's downhill. It's a little bit challenging on the front here with going downhill, asking so much of these tires, but tiptoes back on the power here. We'll have to do it one more time as we work through the final hairpin. Very similar, but again, off camber, hugging that curbing on the outside. Now put your right foot down, just a little bit of grass there. Is this gonna be enough? To the line, loses it in the final sector. Still Andrew at the front of the field.
Just got away with that. Ryan, though, quicker in Sector 1 and 2. He just has to find what was wrong in that third one. Lee, though, biting at his heels, only 2 tenths behind Bradley right now. Who is going to be the pole sitter on this one? I mean, the logical choice is going to be Andrew, as of course he did dominate the Laguna Seca race, and if we are comparing this track to Laguna, then in theory, you would think Andrew is going to be the one that will walk away with this, but that does not seem to be the case. It is currently 10 thousandths separating the drivers. The blink of an eye, by the way, 2 tenths.
So I think what we do need to ask ourselves is, what has Andrew been hiding? He's clearly starting to put his cards down at the table right now as he chucks it just a little bit too hard here, working back to the top of the hill. It's still good enough for a purple first sector. What are we going to see here as we work into the S's? Another purple sector. So again, Ryan has closed in that gap, but Andrew might have been hiding some pace here. Let's see as he works his way down to Melbourne once again.
Now, was he sandbagging? Or was he just waiting? And that's the real question. Lee, though, while we were talking, has managed his way up in a 3rd position over Bradley. One more corner left to go here for Andrew till we see, is this going to be the lap that nobody can beat? Because if this lap does continue this trend of improvement, this is going to be quite the flyer. He'll be into the 27s and the only driver to do so. And as he comes to the line, it is going to be a 27.772.
Back to the lone kind of dot on the spread chart right now with nearly half a second over the field. And now it is all eyes on Ryan in the 95. Is there any response? Carlos just having the time of his life right now. Tokyo drifting that thing down the start finish line. and is currently 11th quickest and spooking some of the guys in this little freight train around him. Again, still struggling for some people to find clean air right now, which is vital in such a demanding course in terms of grip here. We see so many guys running not necessarily bumper to bumper, but in areas that you're definitely going to have upset air as a result. I'm liking the spacing for Nicholas right now, who's currently 6th fastest. He's kind of in an island right now. I think that's also why we've seen such an advantage for Ryan and Andrew. You're not kind of running right off the bumper of someone.
Yeah, exactly. This is a track, again, just like Laguna, that slipstreaming is nothing. You do not want to be anywhere near anybody else getting that dirty air on these GT3 cars. Keep in mind, folks, look at that gigantic wang on the back of that car. Also, the sticky outy bits on the side, that really aggressive looking teeth diffuser in the back. It's got a splitter as well that you can't really see, all hidden underneath that front end, the long front end of the AMG. You can kind of get a glimpse of it there. What I'm basically saying is these cars are aerodynamic monsters, and as soon as you take any little bit of that away, they start to slide around like a dog on a freshly finished hardwood floor.
Oh, Ryan has to deal with a little bit of lap traffic there. That will upset his lap. Just some minor time loss there as he's up 0.073 through Sector 1. Still in a pretty good patch of tarmac right now. And this is going to be a good base here for him to improve. Was improving in Sectors 1 and 2 last time by, but still unable to crack the 28. So we're going to see what he can do here. Working towards the end of the second sector. Dead even on time there, Mike.
Yeah, just literally 73 ten-thousandths behind his lap time currently into Sector 2, or ending Sector 2 into Sector 3. So you couldn't really be more square right now, and that is not what Ryan wants to be hearing. He wants to be seeing tenths disappearing out of that delta if he wants any chance of catching Andrew when it comes to this race. Through the final sector, though, this is where he was weakest last time. Let's see if he managed to pick up the pieces and put them together through the final corner, onto the loud pedal, and to the line. Is there going to be an improvement? It's a 250, what's 250, what? It's a 128.6. That is not going to be enough.
So this is where, with 3 minutes left, you almost got to imagine that these guys should be trying to come in and get fresh rubber, or at least trying to find a way to get back to the pits. All of these guys have put some pretty significant laps on these tires, and the degradation has been found. So that's putting some extra work on these guys as they try and find those extra tenths. As I say that, that's not an issue for Carlos and Timothy, who both improve. Ryan, though, struggling as he goes wide and sails off at the top of the hill.
Yeah, and he immediately returns back to the garage there, it looks like, and that's going to be maybe a fresh set of boots for him. Assuming he can get them up to temperature. That's, of course, the real disadvantage of changing tires here. You're going to be on cold ones coming back out. And do you have enough time to get them up to temp? As currently there's only 2.5 minutes left. Really only time for one more solid banker. So we're done with bankers at this point. Only one more solid lap is all you're really going to get. You need to make this next one count, and if you can't make the next one count, well, you better make the one after.
Some unexpected drop in pace here from Ahmad, who has absolutely stunned us in the MX-5 Cup, has looked fairly strong in the previous weeks here in GT3. Donington has not been his friend, though. He's 12th fastest on the board right now. This might be why he's got one of the Mercedes right in front of him. They're all Mercedes Lambros. He's got one car in front of him, though, and with some significant time improvements here, he still might be able to do it. Big slide there through the S's, and that might be qualifying done for Ahmad.
Certainly improving his time, but not in the time that he would like, only his time in pit lane. Ahmad, Mr. Consistent, not in a GT3 car. And to give him an MX-5, he can do anything.
Very consistent.
Give him a GT3, it's a struggle.
I think that just goes to show you how different these machines are altogether. Like, yes, they're both tin tops, they're both, it's not like comparing a cup car to an open wheeler, but it's a big step up to go from an MX-5 cup car to a top flight GT machine. You've got a lot of aerodynamic bits doing things for you. You've got so much more driving assists potentially aiding you. It's a completely different machine altogether. And just because you're fast in an MX-5 Cup car doesn't necessarily mean it's going to translate over to the top ladder of sports car racing.
No, exactly. I can drive a GT3 and I can't drive an MX-5, so I'm just in the opposite boat as a mod. The reason that is, a lot of people ask, what's the difference? Oh yeah, downforce, it means you get to corner easier, right? Yes, at certain speeds, right? So in order to activate all of those invisible mumbo-jumbo bits that are known as downforce, right, you have to be traveling at a high enough speed for the air to be pushing you down enough. So you hear a lot of people say slow is fast. Absolutely true. That is 110% true all the time. But sometimes in a GT3, you need to go fast in order for it to be fast. It is a different animal. It's more aerodynamically inclined than mechanically inclined like an MX-5.
Michael with improvement here gets into the 129s. Is still not enough for improvement. Andres looking for that lap finally. And we'll get there, 128.7 to 5. I think also, yeah, it's very much just having trust and almost trusting your car to and carrying enough speed through an apex and knowing that your mumbo jumbo, as you mentioned, is going to do enough. How about Lee? He's close right now to Ryan, and we could see him potentially rob second in that outside front row spot if he's able to carry this speed and keep it going into the final sector.
He's got to find at least 4/10 though in Sector 3, and I don't know if Sector 3 is even long enough to find 4/10 in for Lee right now. Bit of a wiggle there. That was for the car behind, so not Lee. He's going to be still on the charge. Firmly through the final corner, onto the accelerator. Is this going to be enough? I don't think it is, but anything is possible in racing, and in this case,
bingo!
It is. Lee manages to get third, immediately stolen away by Timothy.
The man in the shadows we were not expecting, as now Timothy, who was a little bit of a dark horse in Laguna Seca, had a quiet race, but a consistent one, is provisionally going to be on the front row. What does Bradley have to say about it? Not a lot. Major time gained through Sector 1 and 2. It's going to take a monster Sector 3 to even be improvement. It won't be enough.
Andreas, do you have anything left for us?
Best for sixth.
Does. Manages to gain a few positions there at the end and is the final driver to do so with a 128.4. Finds himself slotted there 2 positions higher than he previously was. And well, qualifying all done, the results shaken, not stirred. Andrew, though, still at the top.
And this time he's got a very, very different group of individuals behind him, but we've got 23 minutes of GT3 action coming your way for the final maiden GT3 round, and here to call the start is Mike Naus.
Andrew on pole position, Timothy alongside. This is the final race, folks, of the GT3 Championship here for World of Racing. 6 red lights are on. And we are away for the final time, at least in hope. And my goodness, the front 2 are sleeping at the wheel. This is going to cause a massive concertina effect in the background. Lee, Ryan, all over them like a rash into the braking zone for the first corner. High speed, high commitment. We see some shakers. 3 wide on the exit. What could possibly go wrong? Everybody, though, nip and tuck out of the exit of turn 2 and on their way down through Hollywood. I see a whole lot of stars on the track.
Timothy, like a freaking cannon, instantly took off going down the hill. Andrew already trying to throw the Uno reverse card and take that lead back. We've got a freight train further back. Bradley with a look to the outside will carry it all the way around. It's a nuclear move at the castle.
And my goodness, chaos, carnage, calamity, looking in every which way. Where do you even look? Timothy getting overtaken, but he's trying to overtake Andrew, holding on by a thread merely. Ryan in the background. I almost feel he's going to be the one to win this battle, but no, it's going to be Andrew muscling his way on by. Ryan gets alongside immediately, and Timothy now feeling pressure from the front in the back and down to the inside. It looks like Ryan's going to steal that position away. Chan Young gets punched in the face.
Back and forth we go, and some guys are having to use the door to get by. That's not necessarily entirely surprising, as we've got big contact on the inside. It looked like Donovan trying the ultimate Hail Mary going into the final corner. He pushes Carlos out to go do some yard work and will come back out onto the track somehow in one piece, but some major reshuffles in the mid-pack. Here's Andre trying the outside around Donovan. He'll back out and give P5 to Donovan for now. Further back, Ahmad trying the inside over Bradley. They'll go side by side going down the hill. I can't even hold my breath right now. I can't take a breath.
I'm just going to be completely transparent right now. Jackson and I did not think this race was going to be that exciting, and how we have already eaten our words, and Andreas has eaten the barrier. Oh no, Ahmad still continuing a forward trend though with Bradley in the background. Bradley on a redemption drive here and currently sitting down in 7th. He wants to be much higher up than he is right now. The front has calmed down a little bit. We see that Ryan has formed a 1 second gap. Timothy about 7/10. Lee, a good little bit. But everybody else, oh my goodness, it doesn't matter where you look. Cannons to the front, cannons to the right, volleyed in thunder into the Valley of Death Road. All these AMGs. This is an experience.
Andrew, Ryan, and Timothy, your podium provisionally here as we still have 20 full minutes of GT3 action ahead of us. Bradley looking very, very racy here going through the final 2 hairpins. Had a really good look actually into the S's, which is really not a spot you could get that move done. As we go back to that battle for the podium, Timothy trying to fend off Lee right now, who's been chipping away as of the past couple of corners. And we are now just finally starting to see this field dilute a little bit, get into the groove.
Yeah, this is where the drivers are really going to start to settle in. Now we say that, Chan Young, Nicholas changing positions left and right still, but eventually, we have 20 minutes left, folks. We have to dial it back. Now, that's easier said than done. Bradley here especially, he's going to be a man on a mission, and Ahmad, Mr. Consistent, he's back. Hopefully, knock on wood. Is Ahmad sitting with a little bit of pressure in the background. Oh my goodness, Chan Young, just a little bit of a kiss nearly onto Carlos, but everybody continuing to have their car with all 4 wheels planted in the tarmac and still in the correct direction. Murray Walker would be proud.
Very proud. Nicholas lost that position to Chan Young with that little bit of a kiss we mentioned earlier. And now Chan Young with another look into the S's. It's not going to work there, gentlemen. Both of these rainbow-colored cars, and one behind now is Michael. Tries to get a seat at the table, but further up the field, it looks like Ryan will try a look. No, Chan Young trying the outside around Carlos. He'll go in far too deep, and now Nicholas will have an opportunity. Can't get there.
But Carlos with a little bit of a wiggle, though. Is he going to be weak into the next braking zone? Oh my goodness, he's weak, but only because Chan Young is repeatedly punching this man over and over and over. And there's even more. My goodness, talking about a knife fight in a phone booth. This is exactly that. The gloves are off. This is pretty much a heavyweight bout from the 90s. Mike Tyson and Fury.
Oh, there it is from the top rope.
Blow.
So Chan Young gets a bumperful from Michael and actually doesn't hold the brakes, backs up, and actually takes him down with him. Intentional or not, that was kind of cool to see. And now Chan Young trying to gather it back up, has a little bit of aero damage. Looks like Andres gets a free position as a result. Chan Young trying to stop the bleeding now and hold off Christopher.
And he's got to try to apply that tourniquet as firmly as he possibly can right now. Cinch the bleeding off and hope that you can move forward once again. Andreas here, a bit swamped. Chan Young feeling the pressure, sweating like a cow in a burger joint right now, and he's wiggling all over the place, wrestling an octopus to keep this AMG on track.
Back to the S as we go. Carlos around.
Oh, and there is not where he wants to be. Rejoining the track, be careful. Thankfully, nobody is around. And now, well, welcome Carlos to this battle. We got a 4-way fight all of a sudden. Let's just send it side by side immediately.
Best of the rest. Both of the Rainbow Warriors go incredibly deep. Christopher gets 2 cars in one corner and will overtake Chan Young and Carlos. Here's the swing back, though, from Chan Young on the inside as we go side by side. Somehow, Christopher, despite major contact, are banging doors down the front straightaway. Oh, my goodness.
This is an absolute war. I have not seen this much German contact on British soil since their extended holiday in the 1930s. My goodness, more calamity, and Christopher has ended up stranded on the side. Carlos gets away, Chan Young and Michael. When does this end?
I think now is when we can finally just take a little bit of a breath. As I say that, Michael closing in still on Chan Young as they'll work their way back up the hill. The pair of right-handers here will give Michael another opportunity, not to overtake, but certainly to close the gap. Michael a little bit closer. So let's go back here to the macro view. It is Andrew now with 5 seconds over, an absolute knife fight behind, as it is still very much a battle for the podium right now. Timothy trying to get that second place spot back from Ryan. Here he comes with a look out of the final corner.
I don't know if I agree with this. This is too early in my opinion. Timothy, you need to work with Ryan right now. Look at who is right in the background. Yes, Andrew is disappearing. That's not going to be a question. He's gone. He's not in our battle right now. But right now, Lee is going to be biting at our heels if we don't decide to pick up the pace. And of course, I'm speaking here from Timothy's perspective. You can't be going for these moves right now. Wait for it, pull the gap, and then eventually make that overtake. Now, of course, what I am saying is absolutely, well, they can't hear it, nor would they care if they could.
A little bit of a sidestep there from Timothy, I think, kind of chucked it into the corner first and then got on the anchors and was having to gather it back up. Whatever the reverse of trail braking was, all that's telling me is, yes, Timothy is absolutely not taking the advice of our friend Mike Naus and currently absolutely overdriving this machine. And now he's actually starting to pay the price. Ryan's taking off, and now Lee will have an opportunity to get on the podium and take that spot from Tim.
And I think Lee is going to. I don't think he's going to be waiting with bated breath. He's going to be trying to get this job done very soon. In fact, maybe even right now. He's looking to the inside. Is he going to be pulling the trigger, though? No, he's just trying to get Timothy to think. And again, not the biggest fan of this, because now, who is this entering? Well, welcome Donovan. All of a sudden, this two-way fight has turned into a four-way bout, and it looks like if it continues, Bradley is going to be joining as well.
I think it's Donovan was never really out of this fight, Mike. I think it was just a matter of how much these guys were fighting to kind of get me close and get me in the conversation if I'm Donovan. But I mean, all this is doing for all three of them running so close to one another, it's keeping 5th, 6th, Donovan, Bradley, Ahmad, all in conversation right now for staying in this battle, and Timothy is still not going anywhere. Totally lockstep going by Starkeys.
If I've ever seen an advertisement for World of Racing, this is absolutely it, folks. This is electric racing down here, of course, in Tustin and Pasadena. You don't want to miss it. If you're down in Southern California and if you're anywhere in the area, head on down. You can be a part of this. You can go out there, whether it's coaching, whether you're new to sim racing as well and want to just give it a shot. This is the perfect way to do so, folks. Head on down to World of Racing. Get involved with the members night. Get involved with the league nights. In fact, if you check their Instagram, they have some incredible deals going on right now. You don't want to miss it. World of Racing, folks, this is what you get.
Pretty much an hour drive from wherever you are in Southern California, as Timothy with a big look to the inside. Might have had a little bit of a nudge, actually, as we look through the dash of Timothy. They're side by side in the run to the final corner. Where does Lee go as a result of this? Donovan right there.
Nicely done. Now, I don't think we are done yet. Yeah, hold your breath, folks. This is about to get aggressive, electric, all of the above.
It's gonna be good.
Maybe even more. Potentially violent. I don't know. We're about to find out, though.
Ooh, a little bit of a sidestep there from Timothy. Gathers it back up. Just got on the throttle a little bit too quickly there on the curbing. That's allowed Timothy to kind of shoot away now as we see everybody throw flame out of the exhaust, working by Starkey's bridge. And watching top down, we can see Donovan has absolutely gotten a seat at the table right now as he tries to close that gap to Timothy. What's happened to Ahmad? He's in the pit lane. Has something gone wrong for Ahmad?
Looks like it has. You hate to see it. Mr. Consistent. Sorry, but gotta say it. I still love you, Ahmad. You're great. But not quite the greatest performance here tonight in the finals of the GT3 Championship. This, though, you know, you mentioned all that fire breathing coming out of the exhaust. I think I can see the fire and the smoke coming out of Ryan's ears right now as he's just trying to churn through the thought process of how the heck do I stay ahead of these 3 hungry wolves in the background? And well, to be honest, I think he might have just found his answer.
Oh, Lee's around!
Timothy is getting impatient.
Lee got the bumper!
Has lost the opportunity. That's Lee.
Lee got the chrome horn from Bradley, who wanted to waste no more time. Excuse me, it was Donovan in the highlighter colored AMG, and Lee pays the ultimate price and defends just a little bit too hard. Donovan up into 5th. Ryan still leading this whole freight train.
Ryan breathes a sigh of relief after that. He may not like what he saw in his rearview mirror in terms of actions, but he's certainly a bit well, he's got the weight taken off his shoulders there slightly. Now, Timothy is going to be back in a quick moment. In fact, he's pretty much already right in the background, but this gives that 4-way battle a bit of a breather. And now Bradley, this is back to the same trend that we saw in the previous race. Bradley makes one mistake, and he sort of gets into that mindset of, I can't make another mistake, I can't do it. And it's that overdriving mentality that is sort of pushing Bradley in reverse right now.
Huge Code Brown moment for Bradley's as they worked by the old hairpin. Was a 4-wheel slide and was nearly full opposite lock to gather this Mercedes back up, but he is absolutely back into this battle as we work our way through the S's, and now it's Donovan for the first time in a while who's gonna feel the heat with 10 minutes to go on the clock.
Donovan here. What do you do? How do you defend this as you typically would not want to? What an overtake, though, from Bradley if he can make this work. I don't think he's going to. This is great positioning from Donovan. As you can see, he's getting the better exit and covering the inside line for the next corner. Although it doesn't help if you run deep, Bradley. You gotta keep it between the mayo and the mustard, because now, look, Bradley has the momentum. Bradley has the racing line. Is he going to be late enough on the brakes? I think yes. He's going to hold it for now. It's not done and dusted just yet as Donovan barges his way ahead.
Had to use the fender a little bit to get there. I don't think he was going too late into the final hairpin. I think he was just getting on the gas just a little bit too quickly to do contention. Another big slide for Bradley. Is he around? No, he's gathered it back up in the exact same spot that happened to him last lap. He has another big moment, but saves it. And further back, we totally missed this battle, but Lee was fending off Nicholas big time. Up ahead, though, we've got Ryan versus Timothy.
Side by side for P2 right now. Timothy currently the one to hold it, but Ryan is on the defending side. Will he be able to go late enough on the brakes? I think he's going to give this up, at least maybe try for the switchback. He didn't look too compliant in that manner, and he isn't. Back to the side-by-side trend, and it's going to be the inside line for the penultimate corner, but it's going to turn to the out if he isn't clever enough. But he is. Timothy, you got to wake up pretty early in the morning to trick him.
Not totally out of the woods yet. Great stuff from Ryan, who's been able to carry that momentum. Now the script flips into the final corner, and the outside becomes the inside. Ryan back up into P2. Great stuff from the driver of the 95, who's carried all of that momentum. He's not out of the woods yet, though. Timothy trying to get that position right back.
That was a heck of a send from Ryan, I have to say, and Timothy being relatively compliant as well. He didn't want his race to be ended in that moment, so sort of a I'm coming by or I'm going to hit you move, but it was still fair. I would say 100% that move was on. Ryan, incredible defense. Manages to keep P2. Now, Timothy is not done yet, and neither Donovan and Bradley. Now, if these two keep this up and they keep messing each other up, yeah, that's 3.5 seconds at the current moment. But that could come down very quickly, especially as it looks like Donovan and Bradley not necessarily working together, but they're not fighting right now either.
Andrew might be running away with this. I think everyone else in the field. Oh, Carlos with a big save, gather it back up. Woo-hoo! Hang on to it, baby. Right and left serpentining by Starkeys. Oh my goodness, somehow holds onto the car and holds on to 9th. In fending off Andres. But no matter where you look on track right now, there is a magical battle. Ryan versus Timothy, Donovan versus Bradley, Lee versus Nicholas, and now Carlos versus Andres. Ryan still holding off Timothy.
I don't think I could count the amount of overtakes that we've seen in this race with my two hands times 10. It has been in the triple digits of overtakes, it feels, and we have 13 drivers in this race. How much action could you want here on a Wednesday night here at World of Racing? A big thank you to everybody that's joining us here in the audience. I hope you are enjoying, because I know for a fact that Jackson Lambros, aside myself, Mike Noss, we are absolutely loving this action. And back to it, Ryan on the defense right now as Timothy tries to look left, he tries to look right, but there is no daylight to be found right now.
Are we going to see this fight let out at all, or are we going to see Donovan and Bradley lift off as well if they want to turn this into a 4-car furball for the podium? They've spread out a little bit, but rest assured Timothy has not given up trying to take P2 back. He wants it now because he knows there might be a big storm coming in a couple of laps time with 5 minutes on the clock. Further back, Bradley and Lee, that stagnated a little bit as well, but those two orange machines were absolutely going fisticuffs earlier on. Carlos putting a good gap on Andres as well, and then you've got Michael kind of on an island right now. As I say that, though, here's the battle for second. Timothy on the inside coming out of the Melbourne hairpin, as now we'll try the long way around once again. This is exactly where Ryan took this position last time, and it's where he'll defend it now.
I mean, yeah, call it a defense. Stewards, probably not the most happy with that. Definitely, I would say give the position back if I'm Ryan, but hey, whatever, all's fair in love and war. A position still ahead for Ryan right now. Timothy is going to be absolutely fuming, I would imagine, and frothing at the mouth as he looks at the back bumper of Ryan and says, "That's my position, sir, and I'm going to take it from you. If you want to defend like that, you race as you want to be raced against," and I think Timothy is about to show it.
So 5th and 4th spreading out a little bit as well, as Donovan was setting his sights for Bradley and Lee, has already cleared those two. Now tries to get a radar lock on Timothy, just a half a second right now, separating those two, and Bradley is struggling to keep up with them. I think there might be a little bit of damage for Timothy's car as well, as he tries to keep up with them.
Yeah, a little bit, potentially. I think we have the damage here at World of Racing reduced to quite a significant margin, so the damage will be very minimal, if any. But still, definitely, I think the biggest trend is tires. He's over-driving, and that's going to be causing those tires to heat up and get damaged. Potential flat spotting as well. That is absolutely in the cards for tonight. Timothy looks like, and now this is again one of those knock on wood moments, it looks like he maybe has had some sense knocked in him, and that we can't be battling this hard. Because look at who is joining us again. Welcome, Donovan. Welcome, Bradley. You guys now have a shot for P2.
Oh, big slide there from Donovan. Again, just that mistake we keep seeing out of Redgate, and just being just that little bit too eager to get on the throttle, and had that big step out. Gathers it back up, and now he might have to fend off from Bradley, as these kind of two pairs will spread out once again. Lee now trying to close that gap just a little bit further back to Bradley as well.
Yeah, really trying to at the moment. Oh, goodness. Woo. That was a wide from Timothy, and that's immediately, I think, going to punish him? No, not quite. They're a little further back than I thought. That's that little loose moment for Donovan really put the damper on their charge. And Lee, not really going to be coming in contention. He's kind of on his own island right now. Timothy, though, is this the time? Do you pull the trigger? Well, you kind of have to, right? We're getting down to the wire. We have, what, 3 laps to go? 2.5 laps to go?
We'll try the outside. It'll be the long way around, but again, if he can make that momentum stick, the inside will become the outside. He favors the over-under. Just has a major moment there trying to gather it back up, and has to slot back in with Ryan. Once again, a great save from Timothy, but he's got to be frustrated with himself. He knows he has the pace. He just doesn't have the real estate to put that AMG anywhere.
He's also probably not forgetting the fact that when he tried to make that overtake, that Ryan kind of just ran into him, right? So you keep that in mind. You forgive, but you don't forget. And in this case, a little bit of weakness being shown from Ryan and Timothy. Look at that. You can see he's ready to pounce. He's ready to take a bite out of this tasty morsel. On the way through the S's, though, this is not the time. This is not the place. It's too high speed, too high commitment. waved by Starkey's Bridge, and at the top of the hill. Are we going to see it being sent into McLean's? Are we going to be seeing it sent into Coppice? I certainly hope not. Timothy, discretion being the better part of valor, but one lap to go after this.
Looks like Bradley is closing in on Donovan further back. Let's see if we can get that battle right now. Here he is in the 12 with a good run as well. Timothy still holding off from Ryan. Was that an overtake we missed? Did we miss Ryan just getting it back to the front? No, because Timothy was in third. Ignore what I just said. We're chilling. Further back, here comes Donovan on the inside of Bradley. Bradley had to lunge it to the outside, uses the chrome horn, but is a gentleman and lifts off and says, my bad, you can keep that position.
Just a slight little lapse in judgment there from Bradley, and now Lee is joining this fight. My goodness, this is so electric. What more could you want from a finals of the final race? Down to the wire in the championship as well. Ryan is favored to win the championship right now, but I'm not going to call anybody because napkin commentator math, we all know how well that can go. But let's take a moment, though, and let's talk about our true leader right now, Andrew. He's currently coming down the home stretch, and he's getting ready to take the checkered flag.
Has completely executed this season, and especially this week, to a T. Has been fast in qualifying, has had a lot of guys chomping at the bit behind him, and has actually battled back to the front and really hasn't looked back. A really, really good drive these past two races. Little bit of a celebratory drift there coming out of Melbourne, but he has executed this entire Wednesday night perfectly.
And a cruise to the line and a flourish to celebrate. Andrew crosses the line first and takes victory not once but twice here in the finals, the World of Racing GT3 Championship. Next to the line, the battle that we've been looking at for the last while, and well, shoot, Ryan, maybe he'll be winning over Timothy, but who is going to decide between Bradley and Lee?
Bradley looking to the inside. There's a little bit of contact there. Bradley stomps on the anchors, gives that position to Lee, and at the buzzer, Lee in the 12 is gonna get that machine into the top 5.
Brilliant display. Bradley unfortunately crumbling there just a bit at the end. Nicholas just finishing right behind them. Michael in 8th. Andreas looking like a 9th, and it is going to be, is that position? I don't think that's a battle for, I don't think that's a, I think it's a lap car. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Don't see
Carlos in 10th. Chan Young finishing in 11th, and Christopher in 12th, and Ahmad, unfortunately, the unlucky 13 tonight.
That was not me laughing at you. It was more of Christopher trying to be a good Samaritan as we are serving up donuts here for what is provisionally our champion, Andrew. Oh my goodness. I mean, what a race, right? Oh my God, Christopher to the line there. Excuse me, Chen Young just totally sent it into the barrier. This is a very, very fitting way to end out the kind of championship we had. Take a bow, all 13 of you. You have put on a significantly outstanding show, not just for you guys, but for everybody at home and in the centers. Incredible.
And let's take a moment here and let's mention our current top 2 in the championship, who unfortunately could not be out here with us tonight. Kian and Dylan, 2 hard hitters. Dylan, I think, being one of the staff, or maybe not in this case. But either way, as he is in the championship. So Dylan, big shout out to you. Kian as well. Kian led the championship heading into tonight. I'm not sure he's going to be leading after this, as Andrew has done everything that he has to place himself at the top. And my goodness, what a finish. What a race at Donington, Jackson. That was one of the most exciting races I've seen in a long time.
A very long time. I don't even know where the words start to hit me here. It's just, even if it was a runaway from Andrew, you're always a fan of good stories, good battles, and it wasn't respectful the entire time. We saw some guys sacrificing some rubber and carbon fiber to get to their final positions, but genuinely, I think some phenomenal battling, some great duels, some great 3-car battles, and some guys getting really, really creative outside of Melbourne Hairpin and outside of Guttards, you know, using grainer curves, the run by Starkey's Bridge to set up some moves we weren't really expecting. this is just a lot of ways for me to say some phenomenal racing from the world of racing, guys.
Absolutely. What a way to finish. You could not, again, have scripted a better end to this. Even with Kian and Dylan not being here tonight, it's unfortunate, but this has made an absolute nail-biter of a championship, and I don't think anybody knows who is going to be the one that's decided at the end of this. I don't envy the stewards that have to take a look at this and deal the penalties out and then decide it's going to be a bit of work. But my goodness, Jackson, what, again, a better way to finish. And I hope that you find folks at home enjoyed. If you guys did, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button here at World of Racing. And again, if you are down in the area of SoCal, near Pasadena, near the Orange County or any sorts of that, head on down. Tustin, Pasadena, two great locations. And of course, Kansas City, Kansas as well. Cannot forget them. You can do anything, either from coaching sessions to full-on lap sessions to races to members nights to league nights. We got it all. Whatever fits you, there's a package for it and some great deals going on right now as well.
I think that's really it. I mean, we've kind of wrapped this up in a bow. Again, a huge thanks to all of you for watching. And again, as Mike said, if you want something for sim racing and you are in the Southern California area, you're an hour away from a World of Racing venue and absolutely need to go check it out. But I think that will do it, and it will be time for us to switch off the ignition. For everyone at AK Esports and World of Racing, he's Mike Naus. I'm Jackson Lambros saying thank you so much for watching. So long from the World of Racing.